Well, Gary, you said it was going to be a testing afternoon, and it was.
First 30 minutes done very well. First 30 minutes thought we were the better side. Thought we played the ball around very, very well. Good movement. Players were growing in confidence. We looked on top at that time. Created 2 or 3 very good chances. John Goddard had a very good shot, which was low down. The goalkeeper done well to palm it away there. Away from Bruno Andre, I think was coming in, and I felt could have probably got a little bit closer to the ball. Then John had another shot which was going into the far corner, top corner, and the goalkeeper's flicked it over the bar. And at that time, we got ourselves in some very good positions. We were moving the ball around well, and you could see a certain amount of confidence coming back, or the team was starting to believe in themselves at that time. And at that time, Jake Cole hadn't had nothing to do really. He had a couple of punches to punch away from crosses into the box, but he hadn't had a shot to save at that time in the first half. And of course, that is the difference. Whatever way you look at it, between winning games and losing games is in both penalty boxes. If you lose concentration and lose your runners, and they've got players who are sharp, and they scored really with their first attack at a time when we were on top. They never had a situation or a build-up of play, but that's why they're where they are. And of course, before we brushed ourselves down, we were 2-0 down, and you could tell then at half-time it was going to be a tough. And to be honest with you, pleased at the end of the day that it's landed up where it's landed up here. But we've got some very young boys who come here. We've got some senior players who are out injured. We've got some very low players on confidence at the moment at the club, and a very small squad. So it hasn't got no easier over the last 2.5 weeks in every way form. In respect of the type of clubs where we've played and where we are so thin on bodies. You know, we've had Grimsby twice, we've had Eastleigh, we've had Dover, we had Cheltenham today. So I'm glad we got a break now from league action for a couple of weeks. It give an opportunity, hopefully, for some more players to get back fit. Bruno's had 60 minutes today. Chris Arthur's had a certain period today. Kieran Murtagh will be back for suspension. Brian Sarr, I'd like to feel, will be back from an hamstring injury. And hopefully that will give us a little bit more experience and a little bit more depth and freshness to pick going forward, because it's tough. It's tough, there's no doubt about that. Whether you're a player who's learning your trade at such a young age, coming out on loan to Woking, or whether you're a senior player and you've had senior players in the past round you in the changing room when things aren't going your way, to pick you up. I'm talking about the likes of John Nutter and Adam Newton and Kevin Betsy in the changing rooms and that in the past. And, you know, we've got a very young side, or a young squad with not too many leaders. And when you ain't got those players in the team as well as experienced players, it leaves people like Mark Ricketts and Jake Cole really, you know, by themselves as experienced players.
We did some sums up there, and I think the average age of the squad at the end of the game was 22, and but they did keep battling away. I mean,
that's where we are here. You know, that's where we are. I've got no problem. I'm not down, disheartened thing. You know, the level-headed supporters which we have got, I feel for them in a big way. They know. You know, we've had a lot ripped out of us this year as a football club on the pitch. You know, we've done ever so well at the start of the season to get Scott Rendell from 28 goals last year. It looked like he was going somewhere else. And all credit to the club. We got Scott signed, and it was a great signing for us. We kept hold of 28 goals. You had Ismail Yakubu come in, who really looked like a centre half, that when we got one goal in front, or he had presence on the field of play, you could see it from the stands watching, as well as from the bench as a management team, that we had a centre half there which was a leader. And to lose those type of players was a big blow. And of course, we've still done very, very well to, you know, get where we got at Christmas, New Year. But where did we get to Christmas, New Year? We had 2 players getting a lot of goals for us. One was John Goddard, who's done phenomenal well this year for midfield, and the other was Dan Ullman. And we've come here today, and we couldn't keep hold of Dan Ullman. If we'd have kept hold of Dan Ullman at the end of the day, I still think we would have been Ireland where we are now. But, you know, to have those top players like Dan Ullman and Ismail Yakubu and Scott Rendell go out your side, the turn of the new year has made it very, very tough. Make no mistake. And all credit to Cheltenham, they've seen that, and he's ripped us apart today because he always works very, very hard. But being fair to the club, we tried our best we tried our best to sign him, and the club and the board and every way I form really did try and support every effort to try and get Dan Ullman to sign for Woking. So it wasn't a case of, this put the board down or they put the club down, but when we're part-time and the clubs in the league are full-time ex-football league clubs and they're top of the tree, it's very, very hard, and that's where it is, Ian.
Yeah. So Surrey Senior Cup Tuesday, but also a 2-week break to sort of rebuild confidence. What will be?
Well, I think number one is put the strongest team we can put out on Tuesday night to get a win. We need that. Any kind of win at the moment is important. It'd be nice to get to a final for the supporters and for the players to give them a little bit of a lift, to have something to look forward to go in the cup final. And at the end of the day, over the next couple of weeks, you'll like to feel that you can get a little bit of pattern and a little bit of settled continuity in the squad with players back in training who ain't been out there. I can't clear my head, whatever way you look at it. You go into an Eastleigh game and that on the Tuesday night, and you have no Bruno, and who's been playing the majority of games. You have Chrissy Arthur, who's played the majority of games. You've had no Brian Sides, played the majority of games. And then you lose Kieran Murtagh through stupidity, and all of a sudden you just can't clear your head, mate. It's tough. It's tough. Not to toughness to get disillusioned that you're losing heart as a manager or you're losing heart as a player. But as I've told the changing room in here, these are some testing times, and it's nice to have testing times halfway through the season after 5 years. Hey, it's been a big turnaround at the club this season in respect of so many experienced players and quality players leaving the club. 9 players left, whatever way you look at that, whether that was through retirement, like the players like Betsy, as I mentioned, and Nutter and Newton. And then we lost Michael Sester, then Josh Payne went down the road to Eastleigh, then Joe McNerney went to Crawley, then James Clark went to Bristol Rovers. And when you're working where we're working and what we've got to work with, to lose that bulk of players who've got 3 points off the playoffs, it's always going to be hard.
It is. Well, we're in it together, Garry, so thank you for your time.
Problem, mate.
And honest as always. Thank you very much.
No problem.
See you.
Mate. Thank you.